You can create separate voice threads for different Moodle groups. So if you have, say, in the case of Stevens College here, I am actually signed into 4 different groups or 3 different courses, I could share voice threads with just those individual courses. Now, if you're talking about Moodle groups in the sense of subdivided courses, then those don't actually translate to VoiceThread. So what you would have to do in that case is create the VoiceThread and then share it with just the students who fall into that subgroup, but you'd have to do it within VoiceThread. And there are 2 different things you could do. First, we already looked at how to share with just individuals. So you could go into the sharing area, you could click on the name of your course, and then you could click on the sharing icons just next to the people who fall into that subgroup. But again, that's a manual thing. You would have to manually decide which students have that access. The other thing that you can do is manually create a group of your own. So your course groups over here are created automatically for you, but there's no reason you can't create more of them for yourself if you'd like. To do that, you would click on your email address in the top right corner and select Groups and Contacts. This takes you to a screen that looks very similar to what we just saw, except there are no sharing buttons next to each group. And I could create a new group. Instructors have this ability and students don't, so only instructors can create new groups. But I could call this just Group 1 for lack of imagination, and click Save. And that's all there is to it. I just created a new group for myself. And the next step is to invite my students to join. So I would grab this link right here. It says copy the link. That would copy it to my clipboard. And then I would paste this in a location where my students could find it. So I might go into my Moodle group and paste the sign up link for Group 1 into a place where only the students in Group 1 within Moodle are able to see it. And then they can just click on that link to join this group. And so even though the Moodle groups themselves are not translating into VoiceThread, you're creating your own subgroups here, and you're inviting your students to join. And then when I refresh my page, up here at the top, we'll see that that group appeared. So I just created this group, titled Group Number 1. There are no members in it right now because nobody has joined yet, but as soon as a student clicks on that sign-up link that I would send out to them, they would instantly be able to see any voice threads that I had already shared and to share voice threads of their own with that group. So if I scroll back up, let's say I created sharing example for my Demo 101 course up here. But then I also want to have the same exact conversation with applied business research, but I don't want them to see one another's comments. That's when I use the menu icon down here and make a copy. I'm given the option to give it a unique title, so I'll just call this number 2. Give it a unique description, if you'd like. Decide which, if any, of the comments you'd like to include. And it takes you straight to the editing area. So if you need to add any slides or delete any, this is the time to do it. And then when I go back to my Voice page, there's the duplicate. And then I would drag the duplicated voice thread into my second course. So you don't have to redo your work, just make one copy for each of your sections and then drag them into the relevant groups or courses on the left.